Yeah. Money is also just an exchange of energy.
Yep.
That's all it is. Like we all agree to equal something, but truly it's just energy in this little tangible form that we exchange. And so we're exchanging our energy for somebody else's different type of energy. Yeah. So like if someone hires you for your profession and they're paying you because they see value in the energy you give them and they trade you this money energy. And so the same thing in our house. It's like we think about like, where are we already spending a different type of energy to solve a problem? And it's actually costing us more in like our bandwidth, our happiness, our connection with our spouse, like connection with our kids, whatever that is, that if we were able to like buy, if there was like a magic thing that we could be like, if whatever the price is, if I could just buy the most perfect marriage and the most perfect relationship with my kids and just buy my happiness, like what's the price I want to pay for that?
Welcome to Next Level You podcast. I'm Stephanie Dingbaum, your host, your biggest cheerleader, and your go-to girlfriend for real, raw, and uplifting conversations about leveling up in life. As a mental health therapist with over a decade of experience and a business coach helping women elevate their lives and businesses, I'm here to guide you through the mindset shifts, holistic practices, and manifestation tools you need to step into your most authentic, next level self. Whether you're here to ignite your personal growth, elevate your professional game, or simply rediscover you, this podcast is your invitation to dream bigger, go after your goals, and unapologetically claim the life you deserve. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. It's time to up-level, manifest, and glow.
Hello. Welcome back to Next Level You podcast, you guys. I'm so excited. I have Brenda with me today. I'll let Brenda introduce herself, but real quick, the real reason why I brought her on, well, secretly I've been wanting to bring her on since I met her last August, almost a year ago, at Powerhouse Women Conference. It was then that she planted the seed in me that I eventually need a house manager. And since then, it's literally been in the back of my mind. I put it on my vision board, like it's a thing. Okay. So Brenda is a hero house manager expert. But what really attracted me to you, Brenda, was when I first got on your profile and I saw the words time hacking. I was like, everybody needs this. So why don't you introduce yourself and then we'll just like dig into the conversation.
Yeah. And thank you so much for having me. I think, didn't we sit like right near each other at Powerhouse?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It was meant to be. So fun. Such a good event for everybody listening. Like go to that event. It's so good.
Yes.
But yeah, a little bit of my backstory. My name is Brenda Noon Schmidt. On all the socials, I'm kick-ass modern mom. And we have been an entrepreneur family for a really long time. I actually used to work corporate finance and my husband was the entrepreneur. We have 3 kiddos. One of them's about to turn 13 next week. The next one's turning 10 next month. And then the youngest is 6.5. And what we've realized over all this time of being entrepreneur family, my husband and I dated for like 9 years before we got married. And so we've been together a really long time. So it's been a big, long journey of entrepreneurship. And now like me stepping into this role of also having my own business to help families on a different level than he does. And our biggest thing that we want to do is just like be giant children ourselves and go and adventure with our kids and just do cool stuff and just be curious and like go in nature and go travel and visit the people we want to visit and like hang out with family. And so that's our biggest goal in everything we're doing. And so my husband actually helps businesses to automate and delegate in their businesses. He specifically helps agencies, digital marketing agencies. And so this is something that is like our jam is just delegation, automation, time hacking. And it's really just like, okay, how can we get more of those memorable moments back with the people we love? And like, yes, we love our business and we're passionate about it, but also it doesn't always need us. Like it needs us for the parts that are uniquely ours. But then there's a lot of parts that we can either hire people for. And nowadays, oh my gosh, this is like the coolest thing. We're in like a Renaissance era. That like people could run their whole company just off of AI. And it's like a team of 5 employees. It really is. And so just seeing the path that we've taken of our businesses and how like a team of 20, you can now have like 3 really good employees and a bunch of AI and do the exact same amount of work way better and way cheaper. So it's like, and what's cool is that like all those other people who like, people are like, oh, it's taking away jobs. I mean, this is super tangent, but like,
No,
but
I
it's
love
like
this.
all those other people that would have then been on a team with my husband are now also figuring out what their special thing is and serving people individually with it. And so it's actually not even taking away jobs. It's actually creating more entrepreneurs. And it's like going back to like mom and pop shops instead of these big corporations.
Yes. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need for our society. We need to get away from those big box stores and we need more of those mom and pop stores. Like we do need to go
or
backwards
like mom and pop services, right? Where there's like a guy who's like really good at one thing. And so, I mean, even going back further, a little bit more of my backstory is I grew up here. I live in Tucson, Arizona, and I grew up here in Arizona. I grew up on the border of Mexico on an Arizona cattle ranch.
Cool.
My ancestors, my family actually settled here in the mid 1800s when it was still Arizona territory. And so my family still lives on the family homestead. Like there was, you know, like pioneer family. So I come from these pioneers where there was specialists in the community. And it was like this idea of the village. Like we still, the ghost town property is still part of our land, like with these old buildings that they build and these adobe buildings. And so there's like a blacksmith shop and all these, you know, like the saddle room and the leatherworking. And so there was people who had one unique talent that they would contribute towards the team. And then everybody leaned on each other for those unique talents. And so this is now like where I take that strength of what we used to know as humans and I help people apply it to their household where it's like, okay, as moms, as parents, as family, like we're not supposed to be in charge of all this stuff.
No.
Bring in people who are really good at other pieces of the puzzle and let them help you. And instead of like, I tell people, you know, like the whole village mentality, like there's still some cultures around the world where like multiple generations live in the same household. We actually have friends. Actually, my husband's business partner, he has a household like that where there's like multiple generations in the same house.
Wow.
And so it's like the grandparents and the great grandmother and the like everybody, like everybody's there. And so there's that exists in some households, but for the ones that don't have that built-in village, you can build your own village of support with a role like my favorite is a hero house manager.
Yeah.
We also have a personal chef in our house, which everyone's like, what? Which then I'm like, tell everybody like, okay, it's not like Mr. Belvedere in a mansion. Like it's so much more accessible than everybody thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our personal chef, Renee, comes once a week on Mondays and she's here for 3 to 4 hours and makes all my dinners for the whole week. And I'm set.
Okay.
And now, like every day after school, in the evenings, the kids and I can go swimming. We can go to the park, go do other stuff because I don't have to be doing all that prep work.
Yeah, you get to be a truly present mom. What a beautiful concept.
Yeah. Yes. And then my personal chef is an empty nester. She used to homeschool her kids. They've grown.
So
She's
cool.
an artist. Like, so she gets to make a little bit of side money doing something that is a creative outlet for her.
Yeah.
And helping us. And she's like basically our family member. She comes over.
I believe that.
And she teaches my kids how to cook while she's here too. So it's not like they're not getting the skills.
Right. Like a part-time nanny in a way. I love that. You are speaking to my soul because I literally do daily affirmations around having a house manager, having an in-home nanny who's like a family member of ours. Like these delegation job, so to speak, I just envision that being a part of my life at some point in time. And I'm in the Midwest and there's probably a lot of Midwest listeners. However, I sometimes think like being in the rural parts of the country or specifically the Midwest, people think like, oh yeah, that's totally doable out in like Tucson or Phoenix or LA or, you know, whatever. But like that is just not a thing here. And I feel like that's such a limited Midwestern mindset. And that really frustrates me because I feel like I'm kind of an outlier in that way. Like, why do you think that's not possible? There's like retired school teachers that I could hire to like do at home schooling for my kids in the future. There's like my business coach out in LA has a high school girl that comes once a week and folds all of her laundry because she just hates folding laundry. Like, it is not out of reach. You just need to get out of your head, like what this person looks like. Like when you said you have a chef, like it's not this like big fancy, like it's a retired person. You're giving them a sense of purpose. How awesome, you know?
Yeah. And I will say actually being in a small town is almost a benefit to finding people like this because the process I take people through is basically taking them back to their creative, intuitive side of partnering and collaborating. And so when people are like, oh, in a town, there's all these people swimming around in your city that you could just pick one and use one. But I say, yeah, but that's not the person that you're going to want to hire is just anybody. You want a very specific hiring process. And so by being in a small town, it actually forces you to go through the process that you're supposed to go through, which is being more creative and being more intuitive, finding aligned people who are the right personality fit, and then having them do the job that you need them to do. Instead of finding people that maybe have a bunch of skill sets in that exact job, but they're not aligned with you personality wise or because they're in an intimate space in your house.
Yeah.
But you want them to speak your language, and like you're raising kids. You don't want them to have an idea of like, you should be raising your kids a completely different way. Right. Like, I think sometimes that can be our problem with family members. Family members always have opinions on how we should be raising our kids. But what's cool is then whenever you hire somebody, it's almost like this like unspoken agreement that you're like, I'm paying you, therefore you don't get to tell me how to raise my kids. But also in that hiring process that you go through, if you do it the right way, you find people who are already aligned anyways.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
beautiful.
I mean, and I say for you, you have it on your vision board, like it can be sooner than you think. And everybody thinks it's like a someday thing. You can start so small. Our very first house manager we had for 5 hours a week, and she came like 2 to 3 times. And it was really just to fold and put away all the laundry and do a couple other things. And then we layered on a little bit more. And then we started having her like do some prep cooking for us. Exactly. And it was kind of like, as our budget allowed for it, then we do. And it's like, by hiring her for 5 hours, you buy back some time. So then you can go and do stuff with that and make money. Then you come back to, and it's just like the same in your business, right? Where it's like you hire a team member, they kind of pay their own way as you make more money by having them. And then you turn around and hire another person, or you add more hours to their schedule. So it's the same in our households. Like, we don't go in business, we don't go from solopreneur to like a team of 10 people overnight. The same in your house. You're not going to go from not having anybody helping you to all of a sudden having a personal chef and a house manager and a this and a that, and right? Like, you're going to have a whole team. All of a sudden, you're just going to have somebody who comes over a couple times a week just to help with the most necessary things that are really draining you. And it's different for everybody. Like, usually laundry is the most time consuming and draining. I will say the people who like laundry, I'll really kind of dig and be like, do you like it, or have you tricked yourself into liking it because you're such a positive person and it has to be done because you're an adult?
Yeah.
And it's like, but if you had the choice, you would much rather like go kayaking or go to the park with your kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but that's where it's like, you can bring in either a college kid or a retired person, like grandparent age, or the people who haven't yet gotten married and had their own kids. So it's like, those are the two demographics that make really great help, because they're like, oh my gosh, I get paid to come and do your laundry for you. Like, what a dream come true that is. And for you, you're like, holy cow, that's a dream come true for you. Where have you been my whole life?
Yes, totally agree. So can you explain for someone who's like totally foreign to this concept, what a house manager is? I know in your like a lot of your Instagram posts, you kind of compare it to like having a VA for your business. But again, like if there's any, and I know you also speak primarily to like entrepreneur families and also like talk about that, but can you just explain what that concept is? A house manager?
So I call it a hero house manager. You'll see other people commenting or posting about house managers. I call them hero house managers, and it's HERO. Oh, dang, I'm going to forget my own acronym.
I was like, you know this.
But it's harmony. It's like the way they make you feel in your house. So it's not just like a clean person that shows up. It's like a certain person, a certain personality type, the way they make you feel. Empowerment, because they're empowering you to go and do big things in your business. Like, they understand what your goals are and they're trying to help you achieve them more instead of judging you for not doing the stuff that they're doing. R is for resourcefulness, like where they find solutions that are already in your own house. So they're not costing you more money. They're like saving you money. And then O is for optimization, because it's an ever evolving and changing role that you're constantly going to be like, okay, now we're in summer mode, so it's going to look a little different. Okay, now we're in the holidays or whatever it is. And so they evolve with you and with your family and what your schedules, like all the ebbs and flows of that. And so they just become that proactive problem solver. And so a house manager, you'll hear other people talking about this, which I'm so excited that more and more people are talking about this on the internet now, because it's one of those things that like people have had them for a while, but they just weren't talking about it. And now people are talking about it. I'm like, yes, let's bring this out, because I tell people, this is like what VAs were 20 years ago. When my husband first started hiring offshore help in his original agency, it was icky and taboo. And people are like, why would you be doing that? Like, why would you be hiring people from all these other countries? There's people right here in our own country that need these jobs. And anyway, so it was like a thing that you didn't talk about, but people were doing it. Well, the same thing, I feel like house managers is like this secret weapon that some of the biggest names that you see, the biggest content creators you see, they have house managers and they've had them for a really long time. And it's kind of like their secret weapon to buying back their time that they are not really talking about. And so I'm like, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell everybody what the secret is, because you can build your team out all you want, but if you're unbalanced, like your business team won't even be able to get the leadership that they deserve from you, because you're being drained and like dragged back into all this stuff in your own household. So if you don't build in both places, then you're going to be wasting money on the team you're building in your business.
I totally agree.
It's really like the role is customizable to everybody's house. And that's what's so cool about it. So if you think of kind of like a stateside EA that's in person in a business where they're like, like Richard Branson, his right-hand woman that follows him everywhere on his plane and tells him like, here's your schedule and here's what you're going to eat. And here's like who you're going to talk to, right? Like they're like right there, like your wingman. Well, this is like the same thing for your house, where it would be like you're cloning yourself in your own house. And like I said, maybe it's like somebody who's a lot older than you or a lot younger than you. It's like they're bridging those generations between you and your kids.
Yeah.
And they do all the things that you do that you don't need to be doing: laundry, cooking, running errands. They can do kid pickups and stuff like that. They can be kind of like a nanny plus. Like I like say, like a lot of people who already have a nanny, it's like you can ask your nanny if they're interested in being upgraded to a house manager and just taking on a few more roles and a few more hours. Yep. And then it's like nanny plus turns into house manager. A lot of people who make amazing house managers have nanny experience. And so this is a great way for people to think about it. It was like, okay, there's like already people helping me. Maybe they have those, if they already have the personality and they already have skill sets, it's like a great way to kind of bring them on in a bigger role. And then you're like, congratulations, you're now a house manager. And it's like a promotion for them, and like it's like more meaningful work. It's not just like, oh, I'm just nannying to put myself through college. It's like, oh, wait, this could actually be in my career, because they're like professional career level house managers. And so this could be the thing that they are like, oh my gosh, I don't have to go work in a cubicle at a corporate job just to have burnout 5 years later and have to reinvent myself. Like I could have meaning right from the get-go. And so, so it's just like finding, like, essentially it's like if your mother-in-law lived next door and did all the stuff in your house that, and then if you like really got along with her too.
Right. Exactly. You're exactly right. So if somebody
that's what this role is. So
Okay. So if somebody's interested in one, you seek out these house managers for entrepreneurs. Is that correct?
I can. Yeah. So I either can walk people through my process for hiring, which is the exact same process we've used for business. Like when I used to be running HR stuff for my husband's companies, it's like the hiring process, the interview, the background checks, like just what to look for. Like I love using strength finding assessments to really get a good picture of what somebody is and how it complements things in your household. There's certain questions I like to ask in interviews that gets them to reveal things about themselves. Like I've made content about this one, but one of my favorite questions to ask after I've asked a lot of the other questions is, how do you feel about tangled necklaces?
Love it.
And it's like, people have a visceral response. Either they hate it or they love it. They're like, oh, let me at it. I love puzzles. Or like, I hate them. Like my husband would be like, get that away from me. I'm not going to touch it. I'm like, ooh, puzzles. And so people who make good house managers love a puzzle. They love untangling necklaces. And so the way people respond to that question, and you don't ask, do you like it? You just say, how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, I hate it when that happens to my necklace, but it's so satisfying when I get them untangled. Like that kind of an answer reveals to you that they're persistent, they persevere, like they see the obstacle and they see it through. They're like also like they understand the value in completing the task too, right? And so those kind of questions get them to reveal a lot about themselves. And so I have different ways I work with people. Either I can take them through this kind of a process where it's like, here's how you can go about finding somebody in your area, over the shoulder help with like, this is what you post, this is like there's an applicant, this is what I think about them kind of a thing. And so that's my done with you kind of a program. And then I also, for the people who are like, I just need, like, I've worked with some high level families that are like, okay, we have 2 different houses. I just need to find somebody. I don't want to go through this process myself. I got to focus over here on the business. And so for that, I have a white glove recruitment service that I do where I do the complete end to end, find them a person or find them a couple candidates that they can do trials of. And then through that process, I still take them through my coaching, like just like teaching them how to be a good leader in a home environment. Because you don't realize just like, it's like another business. Your home becomes like another business when you have team members like that. So you need to be really good at communication, at leadership, at like managing expectations, at having clear checklists and stuff like that, like a point of communication. And so these are all things that we know make businesses successful. And if we treat our home like a business, it feels kind of like, that's too structured. But what we know is structure provides freedom. And so by having all that kind of stuff in place, it's you drop them in and they kind of train themselves when you have that kind of stuff in place. So those are the ways that I love helping people find house managers. But then like you were saying, like on my profile about the time hacking, that part I love. I have a school community where I help people who, whether or not they need a house manager or not, it's like a lot of time hacking strategies that we talk about over there. Delegation, just systems, a lot of scaling systems for your home, for your business and time hacking. So
that's such a big need. I love it. Yeah. Automation became a big thing for me just this year with going into, it's year 3 for my private practice, but I'm still in year 1 of adding coaching. And so I'm just like, I know that is a need for me, but then it's so hard to separate, like, yeah, we also need delegation in our personal and our home life, as well as me professionally in the business. And they go hand in hand. And then when you finally get comfortable, like either doing some form of automation or truly hiring someone on to delegate a task to them, then it's like, I get to be a better partner. I get to be a better mom. I get to be a better friend. I'm more present when I am at the office because I'm not worried about like what I need to get done between therapy sessions. Like it just, you are more of a well-rounded, just better person to be around, I feel. Yes. And I've noticed that since adding a VA on, like, it's just such a relief. Like I don't stress now when I have to look at my emails, and I know like that peace of mind is there because I know there's another set of eyes on things for me that I was previously just really stressing out about. So
yeah,
it's huge.
And what's interesting, like a lot of people will feel like, well, I need to get a VA in my business first or an EA, and then I'll come back to the household. Yeah. But what I've learned in having my own VA is that the amount of training and implementation on all the tech side of everything on a VA, it takes so much more of your time to get them up and running and then you have, usually nowadays they're like, I do this many hours or this many hours. So then you feel like, okay, I got to keep giving them stuff to do to make this worthwhile. The cool thing about a house manager is they come in and they drop in. There's not all that setup that you have to do. You're like, welcome to my chaos, have at it. And they start making sense of it. And you don't have to do all this like training and setup and onboarding and this whole process. Like it's so cool because the things that they're going to do are adulting tasks. Yeah. And they're an adult, so they already know how to do these adulting tasks. Yeah. They might do them slightly different than you. And so maybe that's just like telling them preferences. And that's where I love having SOPs where it's like, this is how we like our laundry done. This is like the things that get put on the top shelf of the dishwasher, right? Like having all these templates available. And those, like, my clients love those. They're like, thank you. I'm like, print these off and call it good. And so having that kind of stuff where it's like really just about preferences, but there's not all that setup. And then the same thing, I love using Voxer with my clients, but I also use it with all of my household staff. Okay, so that makes sense. I'm in the car or I'm even at my desk and I can just fire off a real quick thought like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you in the garage, you're going to see this crazy fiasco happening. And here's what my vision is for that situation. Please make it happen. Yes. And then you just give them that information that can go. Like you don't need to like put it in a clipped up board and do all these other extra pieces and then communicate and have a powwow and like all this extra stuff. You can move so much quicker. And then I feel like if you have that in place, you're going to get your time back to be better at hiring your VA next. So it's like, I say get the house manager first, then the VA, because you'll actually be able to use your VA better and onboard them better because you're not having to handle all that other stuff.
That makes sense. If
you already have VAs in place, then you're like, okay, you're ready to rock and roll. Like go get a house manager.
Right. I love that. That just seems naturally like the next step. And I love what you said about earlier about like a lot of those big name people have these. And I was when I first asked you to come on and I was on your profile and I was looking at some of your recent posts and I saw the one from June with you. I think you were at like the live podcast recording with Lori Harder and Lindsay Schwartz. And I think it was, who was the third one?
Jen Gottlieb.
Yeah, Jen Gottlieb. Yep. And I was like, oh my God, that's so ironic that she's in a picture with them. I bet all 3 of them have a house manager. I mean, like my mind just naturally was like, that's interesting, you know, because they probably do. They probably have to function and run their businesses. And, you know, it just makes complete sense.
One of my favorite things to do is if I go to an event that has speakers that they've brought their kids there, then I kind of scan and I'm like, where's their house manager? Where's their house manager? Because they travel with them. And then I go and I meet the house manager and I go talk to the house manager.
That's awesome.
And I just love that perspective, you know, and just being like, thank you for everything you do so that they can come and serve all of us, like speak to us and coach us. And and so like this little hidden person that, so I love like going and finding their house manager in the crowd.
I love that because how often do they really get thanks, you know, from outsiders? I mean,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's talk about the, like the mom guilt that a lot of moms, I feel, you know, it naturally just surfaces when you feel like you maybe have some limiting beliefs that you feel like you need to do all the things. And if you're not doing all the things, you're failing as a mom. I could see a lot of my listeners carrying those limiting beliefs, even like I think about like our friend group here in the Midwest, and there's a few who have in-home cleaners. So, you know, it's like that first step, but to take it a step further and get or have them bump up to being a house manager, there might be those limiting beliefs of like, but I can do it all. Like, I don't want people to think I can't do it all. And then it's like, but if I get it, I have to keep it a secret. And it's like, why though? Like that mom guilt is so heavy there.
It is.
Like talk
it's
to
real.
that. Yeah.
I felt it too. I'm like,
Okay.
it was definitely a transition for me when we had our 5-hour-a-week house manager. I was like, I was in my brain, like fully, like not even fully committed to it. I'm like, I'm just going to try this out. I don't know. Well, it's just for the season. Like, this is helping me out with the kids right now and the laundry. I don't know if I really need this full time, because in my brain, I felt like, well, I'm not fully giving away this stuff. I'm just getting a little help right now. Right. And so, and then once, and it was funny because when I was first starting my business and I'm like, I want to start my business, but I don't know what my thing is. And so I have all this knowledge from being behind the scenes of my husband's company. It's like all these different things that I've done, but I'm like, I know some of my strengths, but I don't really know what my thing is. And so they tell you like, what's the thing that everyone just keeps asking you about?
Yes.
And when I would go to my R3 workouts and I would go to play dates with my kids and, like little baby meetups and all this stuff, the thing that everybody wanted to know about was my house manager and the people I was hiring and like getting referrals and like, how does that work? What does it look like? How much do you pay them? How many hours? What do they do? Like these kind of conversations that we can now have on podcasts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
These are the questions that everyone kept asking me. And it was like this thing that everybody was like, oh yeah, I need to talk to Brenda about her house manager. Like I need to know about this. And I realized like, is house manager my thing? Like, I don't know if that's my thing, but it's like,
that's so
nobody
true.
else is talking about it. And everyone keeps asking me. So this is my opportunity to shout it from the rooftops and let people know, like, yeah, it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It really is hard because there's something about whenever you hire a person versus if it's a family member. But what's cool is I tell people, it's like, you think about it like before we're talking about the whole village mentality and you would share your home. So you were already exchanging something before.
Yeah.
You're exchanging lodging for the work.
Right.
And like in return, then you're going to help take care of them and feed them and do stuff. And then they stay there and they take care of your kids and they do your laundry. And this whole like exchange is happening. Yeah. Money is also just an exchange of energy.
Yep.
That's all it is. Like we all agree to equal something, but truly it's just energy in this little tangible form that we exchange. And so we're exchanging our energy for somebody else's different type of energy. Yeah. So like if someone hires you for your profession and they're paying you because they see value in the energy you give them and they trade you this money energy. And so the same thing in our house. It's like we think about like, where are we already spending a different type of energy to solve a problem? And it's actually costing us more in like our bandwidth, our happiness, our connection with our spouse, like connection with our kids, whatever that is, that if we were able to like buy, if there was like a magic thing that we could be like, if whatever the price is, if I could just buy the most perfect marriage and the most perfect relationship with my kids and just buy my happiness, like what's the price I want to pay for that? Like we would be willing to exchange that energy.
Yeah.
And so we just have to think about is like, we're exchanging that energy to these people who are providing value in our home. If our mother-in-law lived next door and she just popped in all the time, multiple times a week and just helped with laundry, help chop onions, watch the kids, go pick them up, do all these things, it would be no brainer. You'd be like, yeah, that's amazing. I wish I had that. That'd be wonderful. But as soon as you bring in a quote unquote stranger into your house, it feels weird and you feel like you're not allowed to accept that help. And this is where I was telling you, like, even when I work with my white glove clients, I coach them how to receive because sometimes they're so driven in their business and they're good at delegating in business, but they actually don't quite receive. Like they're giving information, they're giving feedback, they're running a business, but they're not receiving. And so it's teaching everybody how to go back to being able to receive.
Love that.
So it's like, yeah, it's hard. It really is. Yeah. And like as a parent, I think like, what can I say and do for my kids to teach them early on how to receive? Like, how can I like not have to, like, I don't want them to have to be reprogrammed later. Like we all have to be, like, how can I reprogram them, right? To like be able to accept this help. And the answer is getting help in your house because then it shows them that they're allowed to have that kind of help growing up, which then, so instead of turning into like entitled brats, no, they turn into collaborators who can collaborate on teams and accept help and give feedback. Like my kids will tell the house manager, like, hey, like, can you not put this on my desk? Or I like my socks folded this certain way. Like they give her feedback on their preferences. And when she does things that are super sweet and cute, like she'll leave them little notes. Then they're like, that was so sweet. I love that. Right.
Oh,
so it's like,
I love it.
The positive feedback and the constructive criticism and like working together and collaborating. Like these are team building, team working skills that we
Yes.
all need as adults. And so how can we teach these to our kids? Like, we can't just tell them all the time. We actually have to give them opportunities
Agreed.
to use it. And so
Yeah.
what better way than bringing people into our house and letting them be coworkers with your kids?
Right.
Are you 5'4" or under? If so, listen up. This ad is for you. Did you know nearly half of women in the US are petite? Yet, shopping for stylish clothes that fit perfectly can feel impossible. For years, I struggled with this. Shopping in kids sections, dealing with oversized arms, long pants, and wasted money on alterations. I hated shopping because nothing ever fit just right. Then I found Short Story, a clothing subscription box specifically designed for petite women. Short Story is rewriting the fashion rules for petites, offering clothes tailored for all sizes, shapes, and heights under 5'4". They even design their lines based on feedback from their subscribers, people like you and me. Here's what makes Short Story amazing. Each box is personalized to your measurements and style preferences. No more alterations or guesswork. You choose how often you get a box. You can do monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly. Every box includes 7 items, and I usually keep around 4 to 6 of them because they fit so perfectly. Their styling quiz lets you share your budget, style preferences, and even your Pinterest board for inspiration. Yes, I've literally manifested my Pinterest wardrobe thanks to Short Story. And lastly, after each box, you can give feedback to make your next box even better. So imagine never having to shop in stores again, feeling confident at every event you attend, and knowing your clothes were curated specifically for you. I've been a loyal subscriber for 6 years now, and I promise it's been a game changer. If you're ready to uplevel your style and show up as the best version of yourself, then give Short Story a try today. And then a bonus for my listeners, you can use the referral link in today's show notes to waive the $25 styling fee on your first box. Let Short Story handle the hassle while you show up stylish, confident, and ready to take on the world.
Do you also give your kids responsibilities that are not done? Like, what about for those moms who are like, well, I want my kids to know how to handle those responsibilities? Like, obviously, you can delegate to the kids too.
Yep.
So that they're doing it.
I mean, there's like sometimes my house manager's on vacation.
Right.
Over the holidays, she goes to visit her family just like everybody else.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I could really use a lot of help over the holidays. But it's like, yeah, these are people, like, they want to go visit their family too. So we all know every year over the holidays, like, we all are a team when it comes to house management. And so we have a whole like separate checklist that we follow for whenever we're divvying up all these tasks. And so my son's in charge of picking up all the dog poop. And then my kids, each of them put away all of their laundry. And my daughter helps me actually do it in the loads, like the machines, because she's old enough to use them. And so it's like age appropriate tasks. But then when my house manager is helping around the house, they're not completely relieved of the rest of the responsibilities. They're actually doing them alongside her.
That's what I was thinking.
She's putting away the clothes. They're in the room as if it was me doing it, where it's like, okay, open that drawer. Here you go. Now put that one in there. Okay. Oh, no, fix it that way. Right. And so
love it.
We think as parents, we're the only ones who can teach our kids, or like the teachers at school. But how much are they learning every time they go to grandparents' house, every time they're around other family members? And so what's cool is when you bring these really aligned people into your home, they're also teaching your kids. And a lot of times your kids listen to them better than they listen to you.
I agree.
If I tell my 10-year-old son, hey, buddy, let's organize your room today. And he's like, oh. But when the house manager is here and he's not at camp or school or anything, he's home, then he is like, can we organize my room? Like, that's his favorite thing to do with her. And they like go through all his crazy electronics and batteries and stuff. And like,
I love it.
Yeah, his weird inventions, and they categorize them and they label them and they go through this whole process together. Yeah. So yeah, it's, I've worked with families where they have teenagers and they say, I don't want my house manager to do any of the jobs that I want my teenagers to do. Like, she doesn't touch their rooms, right? And so when they're teeny tiny, it's kind of nice because then the house manager can teach them. But then once they're like to a certain age, you're like, okay, they know how to do it. So I want them to practice being good at it so that they're set as an adult. And so one of the families I work with, she was like, no, the house manager doesn't do my teenagers' rooms. She works for me.
Yep.
She does
Yep.
my stuff and my husband's stuff.
Nice.
If my kids want her to do their stuff, they have to pay her. And one of her daughters actually worked at a smoothie shop where she was getting, I don't know, whatever the rate per hour, like $15 an hour, $12 an hour, whatever it was, minimum wage in her state, that the time that she saved, like by paying the house manager just to do her piece of the room, it was like 30 minutes, right? So then she would pay for like that 30 minutes, and then it bought her back another shift to go make more money at the smoothie shop. So she saw the value in like, oh wait, if I pay the house manager like $10 or whatever, like half an hour worth of work, I can actually go do a whole shift and make this other rate. And so she saw the value in handing something off. And so one of the teenagers actually did pay out of her own money to have the house manager do her stuff in her room. And so that was the agreement that they had. And that's what I think is so cool about this, is like every family can determine what meets their values, like what is in alignment with them. Like you don't have to feel like, but I like cooking. It's my creative outlet. I don't want to give it away. Well, then don't give it away. Like, give away the stuff you hate doing. Like whatever tasks that you're like, this thing is back again.
Yeah.
Give that away. And the stuff you look forward to doing, keep it. Like I love doing my gardening. And so I have a landscaper that like gets rid of weeds and just like does the regular stuff. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, I want to like prune my roses and like do the little gardening parts, right? Like plant little seeds. Like,
because it feels good to get in the dirt. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that's self-care for me. And so there's a lot of things that we can do around our home that by taking care of our environment, it nurtures us back. Watering my plants. I do not have anybody water my plants for me, because every Saturday morning when I wake up and make my tea and I go around my house watering all my plants, I feel like I'm taking care of myself when I do that.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and that's part of the process. Like anytime you hire anybody in your business or at home, before you even post an ad of what they're going to do, sit down and figure out what those things are that you want to keep. And then figure out the things that you're like, oh my gosh, I will happily hand this off. Like, this is the bane of my existence.
A great
and like
tip.
Cooking, right? Like maybe you love cooking, but then all the like chopping onions and smashing garlic part is the annoying part. So if that was prepped, then you would actually enjoy the cooking part more. So it's like you can give a piece of it away and then keep the part you like.
Oh my gosh, that's such great tips. And one little thing that you said that is just like keeps coming back to me, kind of on a sidebar. I love how you mentioned how you found your niche, because I just feel like this isn't talked about a lot, but it was the same experience for me. You think about like in the beginning, when I first started my coaching business, that was the exact question. It was like, well, what are people coming to me for? Or what are people constantly bringing up around me? So I love that you bring that up, because if there's naturally just a lot of entrepreneurs that I find listen to this podcast, and it's so true. It didn't realize it until that question was given to me by my business coach, but it's like, I started noticing what people were constantly asking me about or bringing up around me. And it was always mindset related or manifestation related. It was like in the professional networking setting, they were always asking me about my mindset and like, how do you keep such a great mindset? And then in my personal relationships, it was always like, oh, what are you learning about manifestation? Like, I want to hear more about that woo-woo stuff, And so I just like combined the two. And that's so true. Like anybody who's like in the beginning,
like you unlocked like a secret formula to combine two things. Because some people feel like, well, am I this or this? And so like for me, right, like now the more I work with my clients, I'm like becoming known as house manager person. Yeah. But truly when people go through my program, what they're getting is time hacking. And so they're like, you need to like make that more apparent that that's what you're actually doing. And I'm like, you're right, I do. Because it's like you come for this, but you actually get this other thing, right? But then like sometimes people, they need the other thing. You got to tell them that's what you also do. And so having your like, niche described, you're like, there was one of my buddies, he helps people start their podcast, but he used to be a professional soccer player and he never talks about soccer. And I'm like, dude, that makes you stand out in the world of podcasting. Like you're like a soccer podcaster. That's it. Like everything. There's so many puns you can use.
Right. Right.
But I love that. You know what's interesting? I bet when you were thinking about this also, where you're like, well, what's the thing that everybody always asks me about? We play it down. We're like, but that's not that big of a deal. Like that's easy. Like that's so easy. Like it needs to be harder, right? Because it's easy for us. Yep. And it's not easy for someone else, which is exactly why we can teach somebody that and lead them in that way. And so the same thing, like I just felt like every time people were asking me about hiring help and house managers and just like how to hire people in general, just team building, like I've hired, I don't know, by now, like just in our house, over 150 different people for different roles with like construction
Amazing.
projects. And,
Yeah.
like you go like every
Yes.
little time you're like, okay, like here's this thing that's happening now. And okay, like
Right.
let's find this person to do this job. And then even like house manager, babysitters, like the amount of babysitters that we've used
Yeah.
over the years because they're in high school or college and then they move away and then you find a new one and a new one and a new one. And you start to get your formulas down for this stuff. And so this was something that I felt like, yeah, but like everyone does this. This is not that unique. Like everybody knows how to hire a babysitter, how to hire a house manager, how to like hand stuff off in your house. Like that's like not that big of a deal. But then you realize, oh, it's not that big of a deal for you, Brenda, because you kind of nerd out on this.
Yep. And like you said earlier, to find somebody that's truly aligned with your family. Like I want to look at these people like it's that third arm that I always had, but I didn't know I had, like they're just a part of us. And that's a skill that, not everybody even knows how to tap into. So I think
and like
that's
having,
huge.
it's like, I tell my house manager how it's like, I truly genuinely look forward to the days that she's here.
I would too.
Feel like the energy of my house is just even better when she's here. And like, I love, like, if she goes on a trip, I go on a trip and like we share with each other and talk to each other about it. Like, and so it's like I joke, it's like the wife for the wife, right? Like,
yeah. And honestly, the days that she's there or it's probably a day that you truly feel like that next level version of yourself. Like, damn, look at me with my fancy house manager and I'm just killing it over here in the entrepreneurial world. Like, that's how I would feel.
Support, right? Like, you feel unstoppable when you feel supported. And so whether or not you feel like I made it, I have a house manager, or I just feel like somebody's taking care of me today.
Yes. Okay.
And I feel loved. Therefore, I can go out and serve other people on an even higher level. Like to me, that's like, I just feel so nurtured. When my chef comes, it's like that Monday night meal that's fresh and it's like still hot. She like she comes on Monday and Monday night we eat one meal fresh. The other two, she makes 2 other meals that then have leftovers for the week. But like those other meals are like prepped in like the Instant Pot. So then I put it in Instant Pot, press the button, go. And whatever it is, or it's like a thing you go put in the oven, you bake it. And so with that Monday night meal, like I look forward to Monday nights because I feel loved. I feel so incredibly loved. And it feels like I'm eating at a restaurant in my own house because they're recipes I wouldn't even eat. I give her the Joanna Gaines cookbooks and I'm like, have at them. Work through this whole cookbook for me. Like every time I look at the magazine, I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. Ooh, I want to try that. And then I like, what is this fantasy version of me that's going to have time to try all these? So I let Renee go through the cookbook and
I love it.
Work our way through it and figure out thumbs up, thumbs down. Put it on the favorites list. Okay, it was good, but not again.
That's amazing. I love that. And I want to talk about another topic that I just feel like naturally goes hand in hand with everything we've been talking about. And this probably is something that totally resonates with listeners and it's just probably a part of your lifestyle. But can you speak to the whole like anti-hustle culture? Because I preach it all the time. I put it in my posts all the time. I feel like it's one thing to preach it, but to actually embody it. And I think that's what your business helps entrepreneurs to do, is to truly embody that anti-hustle and to work rest time and downtime and present family time into their calendar.
Yes.
But can you speak to that a little bit? I know that's got to be just like huge for you.
And this is also, it's been an evolution of myself too, because the whole reason I even brought these people in was so that I could have more quality time with my family. And so when I'm with my family and when I'm with my spouse, I am like, we're going to have fun now because we don't have all these other responsibilities weighing on our shoulder. Like the bandwidth bleed has been removed of like constantly thinking about all these other things. But what I had found is that since I felt like, okay, I bought my time back in my business, I have to be as productive as possible. Because, okay, cool. Now I don't have to do laundry, but I have to make sure I'm making use of every single minute to make sure that I'm like making this worthwhile. Right. And so the evolution I've gone through now with my business is realizing like, no, like that doesn't move your business forward as much as you think it does. Like you just feel like some days you're like, I just can't muster the energy to crank out all this copy for my website or like record content today or whatever the thing is. And so you're like, well, I have this person here, I'm paying them to do my laundry so that I could do this stuff. So I should be doing it. No, you have a person there to support you no matter what you choose to do with the time that you have back. So if you want to go take a nap, go take a nap. Because that's going to make you your highest self. If you need to just go for a drive and listen to a podcast to get inspiration, because from inspiration, you then can like create more from that. Go do that. And so there's not like a rule that all of a sudden, and the same with employees, right? Where you feel like, well, now I'm delegating to this employee, so I can't be a lazy boss. They can't see me like not doing anything now. Like that's something that we also experience. Like my husband, as he was building his company, where it's like, I can't let my employees see me sitting around doing nothing because I don't want them to sit around and do nothing. And it's like, what is sitting around doing nothing equal, right? It's like, are they like just are they not getting their work done because they're distracted by all these other things?
Right.
Or like, are they having intentional downtime so that they can pace themselves? Because one's good, one's bad. And the same thing, like as a boss, when we hire people, like it's okay for us to have intentional downtime. And and so one of the like coaching parts that I take my clients through, whether I find the house manager for them or I'm helping them to find it, before we even post the ad, I take them a step backwards to figure out what are those family values and what are your goals. But also I make them do a funny kind of thing. And I call it the do nothing list. And I'm like, what are those things that you always tell your fantasy self that you're like, I want to learn cross stitch someday. Like, I just want to sit in a rocking chair, watching hummingbirds at my hummingbird feeder, doing a cross stitch, listening to music, or I just want to have an hour-long conversation with my dad just to check in. Or I want to go pick up dancing lessons again. Like I used to do that in college and I want to get back to it. Like what are all those feminine energy exploration things that can balance our masculine energy of go, go, go with our business that is so necessary for our productivity. Like we are better people when we have that balance, but we feel like if we're not checking something off a list, then it's not valuable. And so what I have them do is I make a do nothing list that they have to check things off of. It's a checklist and they have to check things off of it once they get more time back. So great. Now you have this person that's doing all these things. And it's like, I tell people you get somebody for like 10 or 15 hours a week. It feels like you got 40 hours back. Like the math doesn't translate. It's magic. And
I believe it.
And so you get all this time back. Well, okay. So like maybe 15 hours of it now you go and be more productive, but then the other 15 hours go do fun stuff. Like go live, go be your future self right now.
Right.
You know, make phone calls, like go to coffee with a friend, like fill your cup. So that I think is a really hard thing that people struggle with. They feel like if you buy back your time, you need to spend on your business. Yes. And also spend it on yourself. You need both.
Yeah.
It's so
I feel like that's how I could easily like convince my husband is like, well, you jokingly say you want to go fishing every weekend. Well, you could actually get to do that and not have to just pick one weekend a month. Like you could actually go every weekend potentially. And he also, when you were talking about like things you used to do to have that creativity, my husband was a ballroom dancer for 11 years before we met. And so when we first met, we were doing that like every Friday night in the garage. That was just something we would do for fun, right? Like turn on that 90s country and we would just do like the waltz and all the things. And but since getting married,
I'm with you on the 90s country.
Yeah. But then we got married and it just hasn't happened. Like we just don't prioritize those dance nights anymore. And I'm always telling him like, gosh, I really miss dancing with you. And like, how can we get back to that? And he's like, well, we can't for the next 18 years because now we have a kid. And it's like, as a new mom, I am just like, that sounds really stupid. Like,
yes.
Do you really believe that? Like, no, you know?
And you got to do it for your kid.
Yes.
Like you got to show your kid that's how their parents showed their love for each other and how they had fun together. And then you dance and you hold your kid and you do it together. But it's really not our kids that prevent us from doing the thing. It's all the responsibilities tied to having the kids that we feel like, well, like I got to do their laundry. I got to feed them. I got to do all these other things. So it's not like the kid itself that's preventing it, but it's like all the other responsibilities to take care of them and make sure that they're content. And then we give up our own contentment. But it's like by our kids seeing us content, they get contentment. Like they can rewear the same clothes over and over and be really happy about it or go naked like my kids. Like if they were naked every day, they would be way happier than clothes. So when they run out of laundry, they're pretty happy about it. So so like them seeing their parents lit up and happy about stuff. Like that's the ultimate reason to do it.
Yes, it is. I totally agree with you. You're speaking right to me. Like as you're talking, I'm like, I'm going to make this happen. This is going to be amazing for us. I'm just like all hyped, Brenda. You're just talking to my soul today. I love this. I didn't know how badly I needed you.
Like, just like when I started, right? I'm like, this is just for this season. Well, like, you're like, just try it for a season. And even when I tell people, when you hire people, always do a trial anyways. Never commit to the person until they're in your house for at least 2 weeks. 2 weeks to a month. Like, do a trial. Because even if they're the most amazing person, you're like, I would be friends with this person in real life. They may not actually like close loops the way you need them to. They might open loops and like they're kind of like with you in the dreamer phase and not actually like implementing the things. And so you're like, cool, I like this person, but they're just not the loop closer that I need for this role.
Right.
And so they'll make a great babysitter. They'll make a different role. Like they'll be good at these other things that they can help me out with other ways. Yeah.
Right.
And so I always tell everybody, do a trial. And you tell them up front, like, hey, I'm doing trials of different candidates. So we're just going to do 2 weeks or we're going to do a month or whatever it is. But you could just tell yourself the same thing. Like, you're like, I'm just going to do this for like the next 3 months or the next 6 months. And then I'm going to revisit it. And you tell the person up front, like, I'm just going to do this for the next 6 months. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it after that. We'll see. Because that's a way that then you can also figure out your budget. You're like, can I make this work for the next 6 months? Like, I have somebody for 5 hours a week for like the next 3 months or 6 months. Like, how much does that cost? And can I go and sell something in my business that would pay for that? Right. And be like, all right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if it works. And it's like a great way to kind of baby step your way into it.
I love it. Okay. Wow. I'm convinced. I don't know. Like, I feel like I could talk to you for hours. And then I'm also thinking like, how are listeners not convinced this is the way to go? Because I'm convinced. I just need to bring you in with my husband and be like, listen, Brenda's got a pitch. Listen, you know.
It is an evolution though. Like you go through a process and you become a different person in the process. Because just like when you go from not having kids to having kids, like a major self-development journey. Because you reparent yourself in the process.
Yes.
So you go through a similar journey whenever you start hiring people, especially in your home. It starts to make you see the way your parents treated people and how you want to do it the same or different, but also like other jobs you've had. And you start taking in like what your bosses did and realizing like, oh, I get it now. Like I actually didn't really like that boss, but I respect them more now. And so the same thing, like becoming a parent makes you respect your own parents and see it through a different light. Same thing. Like it is such a cool journey to go through to reflect back on all the things that you've done in your life that you've been an employee.
Yeah.
Realize like, I get it now. I like see the perspective. Or like, you're like, yeah, I don't know why they did that. That was backwards. I'm going to do it this other way. Right. Like same thing as parenting. Like you just take stuff you've learned along the way and you get to use it in this new way. And that's like a whole nother journey that your brain gets to go through. It's really cool.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's ultimately why I wanted to bring you on, is because in my mind, I think bringing a house manager in means I'm showing up as that next level version of myself. I just know the ROI is going to be worth it. It's going to be huge. Like you're giving me time back, which means you're giving me money back. Yeah, that's just so valuable, I feel, especially in these like first 5 years of getting the business off the ground. Like both time and money are just so valuable, I feel. I mean, it's the energy you give to it and I get that. But I just think I feel like it's worth what you have to pay.
Yeah. And
awesome.
and it's cool because then you get to have like in your marriage too, like you get to have conversations that are truly just about connection instead of who does what.
Yep. Totally agree with that. Yeah.
And usually there'll be like one person that kind of just becomes like the house manager's boss and then the other person like, right. And so in our house, I'm the like house manager boss. And then my husband will be like, hey, can you tell her to do this? Can you tell her to do that? And I'm like, you can send her a Voxer. Also, you're also on the team. And he's like, I know, but like, she's like your person. And so it's like he sees me in an elevated light instead of before where I'm like nagging him to pick up his shoes and he's like, I don't have time for that. And like this back and forth of like neither one of us is elevated. But then as soon as now there's this other person that you get to collaborate with on these activities, like all these projects, like me reorganizing the garage, instead of me having to tell my husband, hey, I think that we should do this and move these bins over here, and him being like, that's a terrible idea. And I'm like, I'm doing it anyways. Yeah. I now just go to her and I'm like, here's my vision. Can you make it happen?
Yeah.
And
that's
he's just
perfect.
like, oh, this looks great in here.
You're just giving me more reasons why I can make a case to my husband. Like, I won't be nagging you anymore. That would be like a dream come true for some men. I'm not that much of a nagger, but like that would be a dream come true for so many men, I imagine. So Brenda, you have just built such an amazing case for why everybody needs a house manager. Like the time hacking and all the little tips you threw in today is, I mean, I didn't even have to really look at my questions because you hit everyone that I wanted to bring up. So thank you so much. Before we wrap things up, is there anything like coming down the pipe for you business-wise, or you and your husband business-wise? Like obviously you are open to new clients, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the easiest way for people to start like getting the drip on all this kind of information is my school community. It's like the most super accessible way. I do a weekly drop-in call where everybody can just ask me questions on time hacking strategies or business scaling strategies or house managers, whatever it is. Okay. And it has all my templates and stuff in there too. So that's like the easiest way. So, but if somebody's like, okay, that's it, I need a house manager, I need your help, I do a done with you service with them also. that is like a one-on-one service where it's like, yeah, let's get you everything that you need. And I tell them exactly what to post in the ad and what questions to ask in the interviews and all the feedback and stuff like that. So I love doing that because it empowers them. It's so cool to see them empowered in that role.
I bet.
But like the easiest way for people to just start kind of like mulling over it is just pop in my school community. It's called Tenfold Your Life. And since it's not just for moms and it's not just about house managers, but just balance, business and life balance.
Yeah, absolutely. When you do those one-on-one services, is it primarily with one spouse or the other, or do you bring both in, or is it?
They can both join. Both? I've had both. Yeah. I've had it happen.
Okay.
I've had it where I worked with somebody and then their husband would just kind of like pop in and be like, these are my 3 requirements and that's all I have to say. Like, just do this. And I'm like, okay, cool. And they seriously, they're like sideways head popping in.
Yeah.
And then I've had other ones where both of them showed up to every single call to go through the process together. And that was actually fun to see how they work together, because then from there I can kind of like say, hey, like, I see the way you guys do things. Like, this is your strength. This is your spouse's strength. So make sure that as you go, like, he's in charge of editing the SOPs and he's in charge of like digitizing all this process kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, use you guys as strengths. Yeah. So it's been fun. But yeah, either way, I've had people like have their kids on there too, because their kids like help. I take them through like a card deck where they figure out what jobs Mary Poppins, I call it, like, let's have Mary Poppins. Let's figure out what Mary Poppins is going to do in your house. And so their kids are on the call too, sorting those cards to delegate different tasks. So it's a whole family affair.
Nice. I love it. I'm so excited to run with this. I like to end all my collabs with some rapid fire questions if you're open to that.
Totally.
All right. So are you more of a morning productive person or evening productive person?
Morning by far.
We are opposites in that way. Okay. That's fine. That's it.
Growing up on a cattle ranch, I don't think I could ever... Like, you got to be up and feed animals and you're like up with the sunrise. Yeah, I don't think but I just love it too. Like, as a mother, that's my quiet time to myself. Because I wake up before everybody else in the house and that's when I journal. I go sit outside and drink my tea. It's my me time.
I love that. Yeah. What is your favorite time-saving hack right now?
Ooh, okay. So we are in transition from summer schedule into school schedule.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
In Arizona, we go back August 1st. Something that I use for all seasons, but especially during transition times, is alarms on my phone.
Yeah.
And I'll pick like fun songs, like songs from the Disneyland parks, and different songs at different times mean certain things to my kids. And so like in the morning when they're getting ready for camp, there's a song that just like goes off automatically on my phone that everyone can hear in the house. And that means it's time to load up your bags and fill your water bottles. And then in the evening, the same thing. There's a song that goes off, like a little alarm that plays. I always pick like fun songs because it doesn't feel so like abrupt. And so it's like whatever songs your family's into, like go download the album and just make them into all your ringtone alarms.
Yeah.
And so like in the evening, same thing. Whenever it's time for everyone to turn off screens and start winding down, there's an alarm for that. And so when that alarm goes off, everybody turns off alarms. So yeah, so it's like keeping the structure without me being the one to be like, time for this, time for that, right? Like the alarms do it for me. But that keeps us like, it keeps our schedule so much more successful when we do that.
Yeah. Genius. I love that. And I like how it takes the power away from you. It's not you needing to like remind them, prompt them.
All my systems are all about like, how can I not be the person in charge of this all the time?
Yeah, totally. That's worth it. What is one task you always outsource without any guilt? You kind of already answered this in the interview, I feel, but
laundry for me is the bane of my existence. I call them laundry basket graveyards. It's like you put it in the washer. Like a lot of people when they work from home, right? Then you're like in between these calls, you're popping up to go switch it over. Like that's a bandwidth need right there. And then, so it's like most people can put it in the wash, usually remember to switch it over to the dryer before it gets weird smelling. And then it just goes in a laundry basket and it stays in laundry baskets. And where do those laundry baskets usually go? In your master bedroom.
Yeah.
A place that's supposed to rest, like recharge you and make you feel rested. Instead, you're feeling confronted and you feel like a failure in your house.
Yeah. And it's cluttered and
and it just like, it's like agitation. You walk into your room at night and you want to relax and you're like, the laundry. So laundry basket graveyard, that's the number one thing that I give away first. Yeah.
That's genius. What makes you feel most like your next level self?
Ooh, I think connection to other people is for me, like going to events.
Yeah.
This, like being on podcasts is such self-care for me. My own podcast has become my self-care.
I agree.
Because you get to have an hour-long conversation on going deep. It's not just like surface level chit-chat, right? Like you get to go deep for an hour with somebody that cares about making the world a better place. So
yeah, it's so healing on so many levels. Like I can't imagine ever not doing it now that I've been doing it for 2 years. It's like, I can't go back because it's so healing on so many levels.
And like today, like I will say today, I was like drained because it's been one of those weeks where it's the end of summer.
I feel ya. Yeah.
Everyone's trying to cram everything in. And I am like, you know what? Later I'm relaxing by the pool. We have friends coming over and we're all just going to relax by the pool. But I am like so dang tired. But I'm like, I'm like, this podcast is going to just energize me for the rest of the day.
Totally.
Connection always does.
I agree. Yeah, you really did. I was draining before getting on here too. And I was like, okay, don't make it obvious how tired you are. Like,
I know. I'm like, I'm not even going to do my hair. It's just going like headband and ponytail. We'll just throw big earrings on and call it good.
I get it. I was like, she's getting my workout attire. It's fine. This is real mom life. Like sometimes you just don't put real clothes on. But that's where one of my favorite things to do just in regular life, I call it FaceTime bombing. Like if I'm sitting and I'm just kind of feeling like I need to go hang out with a friend. I need to go to lunch. I need to go do something. Then I'm like, wait, who can I call right now in this moment? Yeah.
And I don't even give them warning. I just FaceTime them. Yeah. And I'm like, we'll see if they pick up. And so now people have come to expect that Brenda FaceTime bombs them. And they're like, sometimes they text me back, hold on, I'm in the bathroom. I can't do video.
Oh, I love it. I love that.
That kind of connection, right? Like as moms, anytime you just think about like somebody that you're like, oh, I haven't talked to them in a while, FaceTime bomb them. It'll they'll both pick up.
Yeah, it totally will. You're right. Brenda, it was such a pleasure bringing you on here. I've been so good about responding to these nudges when they come to me. And I'm just so glad I did because my soul needed this today. And it's such a bummer that I probably won't be seeing you at Powerhouse because after having this, I'm like, why am I not in a room with Brenda more often? I don't care that we live states away. Your energy is just your enthusiasm. Like I want to be around that more. So thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll definitely be reaching out to you.
I'm so glad you reached out. I was like, I would love to. Like, and it's just so fun, like, because it's been almost a year and just getting to connect, and just have conversations like this. Like,
agreed.
What a cool world we live in. You're in Iowa. I'm in Arizona. We get to hang out for an hour right now and just talk about cool stuff.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Well, you guys, if any of this resonated with you, you have questions, you can DM me, you can DM Brenda. But more than anything, just share the episode. Let me know what specifically about it resonates with you. Tag us in your stories if you do share it. I just really appreciate all the shares, all the feedback. I have not done a shout out in a while, but you guys, the feedback has just been pouring in and I'm just beyond grateful, you guys. I always just feel like if it touches one person's soul, then that's enough for me, but it's been touching a lot. So I'm just so grateful for all of you listeners. And thanks again, Brenda, for coming on. You guys have a great rest of your week.
Real quick before you go, I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And congratulations on showing up for you. Every step you take to invest in yourself brings you that much closer to your next level self. And I'm so proud of you. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or take a screenshot and tag me on socials so we can keep spreading the next level you energy. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's freaking go!